Today, I will be attempting to rebuild every team in the entire NFL in one video, starting off with the Bears and working our way all the way through the entire NFL until we finish with the Vikings. And on top of that, I will have just one season with each of the 32 NFL teams to completely rebuild them into a Super Bowl contender. And if I do not win at least 10 Super Bowls here in this video, I will be giving away a copy of Madden 25 on my Twitter. And as I said earlier, the first team that I will be rebuilding is the Chicago Bears, which is a team that has improved mightily since last season, but they're still definitely not Super Bowl ready, especially on the defensive side where they really don't have a whole lot outside of a few guys. And one thing that I've completely forgot to mention is I will only be allowed 5 trades per NFL season, and my first trade with the Chicago Bears will be Trent Brown, Logan Wilson, and Sheldon Rankins coming from the Bengals. The next trade that we would do would be for Von Miller and Ed Oliver from the Bills. In this next trade, we had to give up a lot, but we came away with a superstar X-Factor cornerback in Darius Slay. Our second to last trade here is going to be Nate Davis and DeMarcus Walker for Aaron Brewer in a 7th, and this trade is done strictly for salary cap reasons. And that would set us up to trade for one of the best guards in the entire NFL in Quinn Miners with our very last trade. So after all of that trading, this is what the team looks like. It's definitely a lot better than it was before, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We have a lot more talent than what we had before. I'm super excited to see how this goes. We are up to an 85 overall here with the Chicago Bears. And at the end of the year, we finished in an all too familiar place for Bear fans, finishing at 9-8. Looks like Caleb Williams did have a pretty decent rookie year, but just not quite good enough to make us a Super Bowl contender, I don't think. But there's only one way to find out. We're going to simulate the week and we're going to see if we can beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. And we do not. We get absolutely dominated by the Buccaneers, losing 31-8 in the very first round, which unfortunately will leave our Super Bowl counter in this video at 0, which means next up on the teams that we have to rebuild is the Cincinnati Bengals. And I do think that this team is pretty close to being a Super Bowl contender. Of course, we have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, who are both superstar X factors on offense. And the defense has some pretty good playmakers as well, but I do think we're going to have to fill in some gaps if we want to make this team a Super Bowl contender, which is why our very first trade here is going to be us going and getting Nick Bolton and Justin Reed from the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And we would follow that up by going and getting superstar X factor Demario Davis from the Saints. Next, we would trade 3 backups on our team for Deron Payne from the Washington Commanders. We'd follow that up with a much needed upgrade on this O-line. And our last trade would be going and getting a big upgrade at cornerback, which would lead to us having an 87 overall team with an 87 offense as well as an 87 defense. And somehow this roster would only end up going 8-9, which would lead to us completely missing the playoffs, meaning that we are 0-2 in this challenge so far. And if we couldn't win a Super Bowl with the Bengals, who started as an 84 overall, I don't know how we're going to expect to do it with the Bills, who are only an 81. Especially when outside of Josh Allen, this team just does not have a whole lot going on for it. The defensive line is decent, but the cornerbacks and linebackers are maybe some of the worst in the entire NFL, which is why our first trade would be an absolute massive one where we pick up Levante David and Jamel Dean from the Buccaneers for an absolute haul. We'd then trade a first, a second, and 3 third-round picks for the tackle duo from the Bengals. Next, we picked up Josh Allen, a weapon, and Adam Thielen, and upgraded our linebacker room again with Shaq Thompson. Next, we would land D-Hop, Chidobe Awuzie, and Brunskill from the Titans. We did have to trade Trent Brown, but we still have a right tackle who's like a 79 overall, so I thought this trade was worth it. And our very last trade with the Bills would be picking up Jordan Davis from the Eagles. And after those trades, we'd go from an 81 to an 83, where this is what the offense looks like, and this is what we are looking like on defense. And after those trades, this Bills team actually ended up going 14-3, so we have our best chance this far to win a Super Bowl. Hopefully we can get it done. First, we have to take down the Miami Dolphins here. And we do end up beating the Dolphins 38-22, where we will play the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round of the playoffs. And we took down the defending champion Chiefs as well, but we now have 15-2 Baltimore in the AFC Championship. Hopefully we can get it done, but 15-2 does really scare me. And we actually did beat the Baltimore Ravens 31-21 in the AFC Championship, setting up our first Super Bowl appearance here in this video, which will be the Buffalo Bills versus the San Francisco 49ers. And I also do want to stop and point out, as you can see in the top right corner, Josh Allen did end up winning league MVP this year. But will that lead us to winning a Super Bowl? Let's simulate and see. And it does. There it is, the very first Super Bowl of the video, coming here with the Buffalo Bills, where Josh Allen not only won regular season MVP, but also Super Bowl MVP. But this next team will undoubtedly prove to be a lot more difficult than the Bills, as we have to now try to win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. And as I said, starting as only a 77 overall team, this Broncos roster might prove to be really difficult to get to a Super Bowl. I will say that I do have a long form rebuild of the Denver Broncos on my channel right now, so if you're interested in that, go over to the playlist section of my channel and check out my Madden 25 Denver Broncos franchise series. With that being said though, here we do only have one season to try to get this team to the Super Bowl. And that is going to start with us getting an upgrade at quarterback by going and acquiring Aaron Rodgers from the New York Jets. And of course I would have loved to be able to do this with Bo Nix, but with him only being a 71 overall, I think the better option will be to trade him. And that trade is going to be Bo Nix going right back to the team we just got Aaron Rodgers from for 3 really good players. The next trade that we're going to do is 3 backups and a first round pick for Khalil Mack and some offensive line depth. With our 4th trade, we grabbed Aaron Rodgers another weapon in Drake London from the Falcons. And our final move here actually is going to be signing Micah Hyde out of free agency, who's an 83 overall superstar player. And after all of those moves, we're up to an 81 overall with an 80 overall offense and an 83 defense, where I don't know if we're going to be good enough to win a Super Bowl, but I do think that I gave us our best chance to. But despite all of those moves, we would only end up going 7-10 and missing the playoffs, meaning this is another no Super Bowl year here in this challenge. Meaning the next team up in this challenge are the 87 overall Cleveland Browns. And if this was a being a piece of shit human being challenge, we would have a real advantage here. But unfortunately, the challenge is actually to try to win Super Bowls, so we're going to have to try to fill this roster out a little bit. Which is why we will be trading Deshaun Watson to the Raiders for Colton Miller, which did leave us a hole at quarterback where we would go out and make a massive trade for Justin Herbert to be that guy for us. Next, we traded our backup left tackle for Marquise Brown from the Chiefs. Next, we get an upgrade on the O-line, getting a new starting center. And our final trade here with the Browns is going to be us picking up Grover Stewart from the Colts, which leaves this as our team. And I'm not gonna lie, I think this is the best team that we have built so far. It's very good all around the board. Hopefully we can come out and win a Super Bowl with this Browns roster. And I also want to remind you guys that we will be adding back Nick Chubb after week 5. But despite us having an absolutely stacked roster, we did only end up going 10-7. Luckily we did sneak into the playoffs though, and hopefully we were able to make a playoff run. But we won't. The Jets beat us in the very first round of the playoffs despite us having a way higher overall roster than them, and that is another year of no Super Bowls here in this challenge. And the next team up is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are an 81 overall with an 81 offense and an 81 defense. They do have some pretty good playmakers at certain positions, but there are a lot of holes that we're going to need to fill. And the first trade that we're going to make with the Buccaneers is getting Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins from the Packers. This will be the next trade that we do. It doesn't look like a big one, but that is upgrades at both center and right guard for us. With our next trade, we're going to get a massive upgrade at tight end, picking up Evan Ingram from the Jaguars. Our 4th trade will be upgrading right tackle again, since we just traded ours, and getting Jack Conklin from the Browns. And the 5th and final trade will be picking up Bobby Wagner. And after all of those trades, we've got this team up to an 84 overall with an 85 overall offense and an 83 overall defense. I really like the team. I think we have a chance. Let's see how the season goes. And despite us building a pretty good roster, in my opinion, we would only finish 8-9. And we would be facing the Green Bay Packers, who are the 2 seed here in the first round of the playoffs, where we would end up losing 30-27. So that is yet another year here in this rebuild where we come away with no Super Bowls. And I don't know if this is when our luck turns around, because next up is one of the worst teams in the entire game, the Arizona Cardinals. And this roster is really not that good. We pretty much don't have any playmakers at any position, offense or defense. So our first trade here is going to be for Von Miller and Greg Rousseau, both from the Bills, for our 1st overall pick this year and a 2nd in 2027. This next trade is sure to make all you Cardinals fans upset, because I'm trading Marvin Harrison for Cam Hayward and a left guard from the Steelers. And don't get me wrong, I think Marvin Harrison is an amazing player, but his trade value here in Madden is just way too high for us to keep him. But in this next trade, we are going to go out and get Kyler Murray, a new number 1 option, as well as getting a new number 1 cornerback in Amari Cooper and Greg Newsome. The next trade we're making is to upgrade on this offensive line, getting Caleb McGarry and Drew Dahlman from the Falcons. And the last trade that I'm going to be making is just a salary dump, because we're over the salary cap right now, so the game's kind of bugging out for some reason. And taking one final look at this roster, this is what we're looking like. We got them up to an 83 overall with some pretty decent playmakers all around. We have a very good defensive line now, pretty decent cornerbacks and safeties. I feel decent about it, but I really don't think that this is a Super Bowl roster, if I'm keeping it honest. And unfortunately, we finished with a 9-8 record, which was just not good enough to make the playoffs. We ended as the 9 seed. And the next team up is the Los Angeles Chargers, who are only an 80 overall here in this game. It's going to be another team that's going to be tough to bring them to the Super Bowl. Luckily, they do have some really good playmakers, especially on defense though. And the very first thing that I had to do for the Chargers was go out and get Justin Herbert some weapons, which we do in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin from the Buccaneers. Next, we're going to land Josh Hines-Allen from the Jaguars to pair him alongside Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack to make maybe the best three-person pass rush in the entire NFL. After that, we're going to trade some receivers back to the Buccaneers since we stole all of theirs, and we are going to be taking Jamel Dean from them. And for our last two moves, we're going to dip into free agency and sign Charles Leno, as well as signing Alexander Johnson out of free agency. I know it's not super fun to just grab people out of free agency, but I'm pretty much out of assets that I can trade. And after all of those pickups, this is what the team is looking like. The offense is looking pretty good. I don't necessarily love this right side of the line, but I think we should be all right with Justin Herbert at the helm. And on defense, we look pretty good as well. We have a lot of really good playmakers around the field in Khalil Mack, Josh Allen, Joey Bosa, and Derwin James, as well as some very good surrounding players in Asante Samuel, Jamel Dean. So I'm excited to see how this team can do in simulation this season. And we would end up finishing 12-5 this season with the Chargers, where we're going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round of the playoffs. And we did come out of that game versus the Steelers with a win, but next up we'd be playing the Buffalo Bills in the divisional, where we would win yet again, but it is again the 15-2 Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship here. Please tell me we can get it done, and we do. Okay, it's the Detroit Lions here in the Super Bowl. Los Angeles Chargers versus Detroit Lions. Can we walk away with our second Super Bowl win of the video? And we do. We absolutely destroyed the Lions, winning 46-29. Asante Samuel wins Super Bowl MVP, and we have now won 2 Super Bowls here in this video. And next up, we have the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. They're the best team in the entire game. Hopefully, we can come out and turn this team into a surefire Super Bowl winner. And that is going to start with us upgrading secondary, where we're going to trade for Tre'Davious White and Cam Curl from the Rams. And we are actually going to call the Rams right back and also get Rob Havenstein from them to upgrade our right tackle position, because we don't want to have to deal with Mr. False Start at right tackle any longer, which is why we're going to trade him to the Saints for Cam Jordan. Next, we're going to get an upgrade at free safety, signing Micah Hyde out of free agency yet again. And last but certainly not least, we are going to go get Patrick Mahomes' DK Metcalf, making this team just like by far the most stacked team that we have made in this video to this point. And as you would expect, we finished with the best record in the entire AFC, where we would first have to face off versus the Bills in the divisional round, which we did win very easily, beating them 35-0, but it would be the Baltimore Ravens that we meet in the AFC Championship yet again here in this video. And I will say, seeing the Ravens in the AFC Championship every single year does make me feel pretty good about being able to make them a Super Bowl team when we finally take over them. Did we beat the Baltimore Ravens though? Yes, we did. We won 33-21, and we are meeting up versus the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl, who we are a significantly higher overall team than, so I'd be pretty upset if we lost this. But we will not, as we win 36-17, and Patrick Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP, giving us our third Super Bowl here in this video. Next up on the list is the Indianapolis Colts. And yes, I am wearing a different shirt because it is a brand new day that I am recording this. Regardless though, this Colts team does have some holes that we're going to need to fill. Hopefully we can find some guys to fill those holes. And that is going to start with us going and grabbing an upgrade at quarterback with Matthew Stafford. Anthony Richardson is actually one of my favorite players in the entire NFL, but again, his overall is just too low in this game. I think he's only a 75 and he has good trade value, so I thought it was worth trading him. Next, we're going to pick up TJ Edwards from the Bears. In this next trade, we're picking up an upgrade at tight end as well as getting rid of some bad contracts. It's been kind of difficult to trade with this Colts team because they don't have a whole lot of money. Our next trade as well will be a little bit of a salary dump, but we also do get an upgrade at right end. And our last trade is going to be for Stephon Gilmore and Cam Bynum from the Vikings, leaving this as our final team. And I will say, I think that this team has been the hardest one that I've had to rebuild so far, just because of their money situation. It's super hard when they are paying everybody outside of the quarterback so much money, and then I traded the rookie quarterback for a quarterback that is making money, and then that just completely screwed up our cap situation. But luckily I did get a pretty decent team put together. Let's see how they perform. But unfortunately, after all of that work, we would only finish with a 6-11 record. Next up is the Washington Commanders, who again are one of the worst teams in the game. Also, I don't know why this guy looks like he's bawling his eyes out, but I guess that I would be too if I was a part of the Washington Commanders. And our first trade with this team is going to be trading Jaden Daniels to the Browns for David Njoku and Joel Bitonio. And again, please don't get me wrong here. I love Jaden Daniels as a player, but in a one-year rebuild, it just makes sense to trade these guys, especially when you can go out and grab a guy like Jalen Hurts. Next, we're going to call the Eagles right back up and get Brandon Graham from them. Next, we're going to trade a bunch of backups for Rashawn Gary. And with our last move, because we're all out of picks to trade, I'm going to go ahead and pick up Xavier Howard to boost up this cornerback room. So this is the final roster with the Commanders. I think that it's a pretty good team. I honestly think we did a really good job. It's an 84 overall with an 85 offense and an 83 overall defense. I like what we have going here for us. Hopefully we can do good in sim. And yet again, despite building a really good team that's an 85 overall, we finished with just a 7-10 record. We are really struggling to win Super Bowls here in this video, but hopefully we're able to turn our luck around just a little bit here with the Cowboys, as they are one of the highest rated teams in the entire game. So hopefully we can win a Super Bowl with them. And our first trade with the Cowboys is going to be from the Saints for Cam Jordan. And he is going to create an insane pass rush trio of DeMarcus Lawrence, him, and Micah Parsons. Next, we're going to be really bolstering our cornerback depth with Teron Johnson and Rasul Douglas from the Bills. And after that, we traded for Bobby Wagner from the Commanders, as we continue to bolster this defense, which is one of the best units in the NFL at this point. Next, I traded for Ramondre Stevenson and David Andrews from the Patriots for Tyler Guyton and a bunch of late round picks. And our last trade will be to replace Tyler Guyton with Dion Dawkins from the Bills. And I honestly think that we just cooked here. This might be one of the better teams that we've built the entire video, especially this defense just having playmakers all over the place. But it only matters if we do good in sim. The Cowboys usually do good in sim, so hopefully they can get it done here. And we ended up finishing at 11-6, where we will be playing the San Francisco 49ers here in the first round of the playoffs. And we actually did end up beating the San Francisco 49ers, but now we are playing the 1 seed Green Bay Packers in the divisional. And unfortunately, Green Bay did take us down 38-24 here. So that is yet another year of no Super Bowl. So if I'm not wanting to give away a copy of Madden 25, I'm really going to have to lock in with the rest of the teams in the league. The next team up is the Miami Dolphins, and I'm not going to lie, I completely screwed up and just realized that I wasn't recording. But if we come over to this transaction log, you can see all the trades that I've made so far. So first I got a left guard from the Bears. Then I picked up a center and a right tackle from the Bengals. Did have to give up 2 first-round picks in that trade, but it was still worth it. And then I just traded for Will Hernandez and Trey McBride from the Cardinals, which gave us a fully upgraded offensive line as well as one of the better tight ends in the NFL. So this is what the team is looking like after that, and we have one of the best offenses in the entire NFL in my opinion. And then with my last 2 trades, I plan on trying to get a defensive tackle and probably a better middle linebacker for the defense. So we're going to upgrade our defensive tackle spot with Ed Oliver. All we had to do was trade Marcus May, who's a backup on our team anyway, and then a bunch of really late picks. And our last trade would be us picking up Bobby Okereke from the Giants. I did have to trade Trey McBride. I know I just got him, but he's only 4 overalls better than Jonnu Smith here in Madden anyways. And I think that the upgrade at middle linebacker would really be worth it. And this team is coming in at an 88 overall with an 89 offense and an 88 defense. We better do good this year. And you have got to be kidding me. We finished 10-7 and missed the playoffs here in this simulation. How in the hell does this team miss the playoffs? Madden sim logic is fucking atrocious, dude. Next team up is the Philadelphia Eagles. And I am not even going to mention anything about them being a good team, because every time that I do that, the Madden sim gods just fuck us. And the first trade that we're going to be making is a huge one to go and replace Jason Kelce. We are going to go get maybe the best center in the entire NFL, Frank Ragnow. Next, we're picking up a massive upgrade at cornerback. And I know we keep doing it, but we went out and got Bobby Wagner again here. His value is just way too good in this game to not go pick up. After that trade, we're going to pick up Zadarius Smith from the Browns. And with our 5th and final move, we are going to sign Micah Hyde out of free agency. And I know that I've said it a few times now, but I think that this might legitimately be the best team that we have built in this video so far, with so many playmakers on both offense and defense. And finally, we have a team with a good record. We finished at 14-3, which did give us a first round bye in the playoffs, but we would get matched up against the Cowboys here in the second round in the divisional. Hopefully we can go out and beat our division rival here in the playoffs. And we did, and it looks like we have the Falcons up next. Can we beat the Falcons and make it to the Super Bowl? And we do, and it will be us going against another team that we've already won a Super Bowl with here in this video, in the Buffalo Bills. Come on, Eagles, get it done for me. Let's win another Super Bowl here. And we did. We win 31-28 versus the Buffalo Bills. Jalen Hurts wins Super Bowl MVP, and we have won our 4th Super Bowl of the video. And the next team in line to rebuild is actually the team that we just seen in the NFC Championship championship in the Atlanta Falcons, who come in at an 83 overall with an 85 offense and an 81 defense. And we are going to start out with an absolute bang as the Falcons, going out and grabbing Jamar Chase. The next trade we're making is another absolutely massive one, going and grabbing CJ Mosley from the Jets. Next, we're picking up Reek Woolen from the Seahawks, and this pretty much leaves us with no more picks to trade, which is why our next move is going to be signing David Bakhtiari out of free agency. I don't know why he's in free agency, but I will absolutely take David Bakhtiari. And we are also going to sign Xavier Howard out of free agency. And after all of those moves, we are up to an 87 overall with an 87 offense and an 88 overall defense. The team looks really good. Hopefully we can go out and win some games. I have high hopes since I did just see this team in the playoffs in my last simulation, so hopefully they are a good sim team. And we do make the playoffs, finishing 11-6, where we are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first round. But unfortunately, that is where the season would end for us, as we lose 27-20. The good news though is that we have the San Francisco 49ers up next, who are the highest rated team in the entire game. And of course there are still some holes to fill, especially on defense as well as on the O-line, but I do think that we have a good chance of winning a Super Bowl here. And our first trade is going to be us trading every single first round pick and second round pick that we have to the Chiefs for Joe Thuney and Trey Smith, which not only massively improves our team, but it also hurts maybe our biggest rivals to winning a Super Bowl this year. Next, we're trading all of our third round picks and all of our fourth round picks for Logan Wilson, which again not only helps our defense, but also hurts another team that we might be in contention for a Super Bowl with. After that, you're going to find me back in free agency going after Micah Hyde, as well as Charles Leno to boost up this offensive line some more. And our last trade is going to be getting a little bit of an upgrade at defensive tackle in Daquan Jones, leaving the team with a 90 overall with a 93 offense and an 88 overall defense. The team looks very, very good. We need to go win a Super Bowl here with the 49ers. And honestly, if this team can't win a Super Bowl, I genuinely don't know what team can. And we ended up finishing 14-3 and have a first round bye in the playoffs. And we will be meeting up with the Lions here in the divisional round of the playoffs, which we do win. And now we will be facing the 11-6 Chicago Bears and rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. We have an injury? Trent Williams partial MCL tear? All right, that's fucking ass. We're going to be down a few guys versus the Bears. Realistically, we should still beat them though. I don't think that the Bears can match up with the 49ers. And we did, and we are into the Super Bowl versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, who of course have Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback. So Russell Wilson goes to Pittsburgh and leads them to a Super Bowl here in this simulation. And as a Broncos fan, if Russell Wilson beats us in the Super Bowl right here, I might crash out. But luckily he does not. We ended up winning 21-17, where Brock Purdy won NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP. And that makes it Super Bowl number 5 here in this video. And that also was our 16th team that we rebuilt, which means we're halfway done with all of the teams in the NFL, as well as being halfway there to our Super Bowl goal here in this video. I think it's gonna come down to the wire. And it feels great to finally get another Super Bowl, but next up we have the New York Giants, who are one of the worst teams in the entire game. So I think getting another Super Bowl this year might be kind of tough, but it might be a little bit easier now as we have went out and gotten ourselves a new quarterback in Jared Goff. Next, we're gonna be grabbing an upgrade on the defensive line, grabbing Montez Sweat from the Bears. Next, we're gonna have to go out and make this trade just for salary cap reasons, picking up Jamal Williams from the Saints. And then we're gonna call the Saints phone right back and go grab Eric McCoy from them. After that, we called the Bears back up and we picked up Lyle Collins and Tyreek Stevenson from them. And lastly, we picked Jared Goff up some weapons to work with, getting Tyler Lockett and Noah Fant from the Seahawks. And here is the team after all of those trades. We're up to an 82 overall. I think we did a good job upgrading. I don't know if we're good enough to win a Super Bowl still, but hopefully we can at least compete a little bit here. But unfortunately, it seems like it doesn't matter what you do, the Giants are just forever gonna suck. Hopefully the Jaguars are a different story though, as they come in as an 83 overall with an 85 offense and an 81 overall defense. We have playmakers all over the ball. We just got to fill in some of these holes, especially on defense. And our first trade with this Jags team is going to be trading rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. for 3 good defensive playmakers from the Bills. Next, we're trading Christian Kirk and a few picks for Joey Bosa from the Chargers. And now that we've traded a few receivers, we had to go out and get one, and we are going to be picking up one of the most underrated wide receivers in the entire NFL in Terry McLaurin. Next up, we're going to be boosting up our linebacker room as well as our offensive line from the Colts. And with our final move, I'm sure you can probably guess that we are going to go ahead and pick up Micah Hyde out of free agency. And those moves leave us as an 85 overall team with an 85 offense and an 87 overall defense. We filled out a lot of holes. We have maybe the best pass rushing group in the entire league when you look at Joey Bosa, Josh Josh Allen, Eric Armstead, and Travon Walker. So I'm super excited to see how this team does in sim. Hopefully we can go win a Super Bowl. And after those trades, we ended up finishing 13-4 here with the Jaguars, which was good for the first seed in the entire AFC, meaning that we would have a first round bye in the playoffs. And here in the second round of the playoffs, it looks like we are going to be facing off versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Hopefully we can go out and get a win and make it to the AFC Championship here. But no, the 6th seed Los Angeles Chargers come into Jacksonville and beat us 29-24 in the divisional. And that one was an absolute heartbreaker because I felt really good about that team. Hopefully though, we can have some better luck here with the Jets, who come in as an 84 overall team with an 83 overall offense and an 87 overall defense. This team is really loaded all around. We just got to fill in a couple holes and we should be Super Bowl contenders here. I messed up my recording a little bit, so we have already made a couple trades here as the Jets. I went out and got Dallas Goedert from the Eagles to give us a really good upgrade at tight end, as well as picking up Mitch Morse to get an upgrade at center. So far, those are the only 2 trades that I've made. I'll go show you the details of those trades real quick. So for Dallas Goedert, we traded Joe Tippmann, Will McDonald, and Wes Schweitzer, I think is his name, as well as a 3rd round pick, a 4th round pick, and a 3rd round pick. And then for Mitch Morse, we traded Brandon Eccles, as well as a 3rd, 2 4ths, and a 5th round pick. Next, we're trading a future 1 and a future 2 for Justin Simmons, who's one of the best safeties in the entire NFL. Next, we're getting a huge upgrade at linebacker in Levante David. And lastly, we would pick up Kenny Clark from the Packers, making this Jets team an 88 overall with an 88 offense and an 89 defense. I mean, look at this defense that we've built. Sauce Gardner and Justin Simmons in the secondary, and then look at this defensive line and linebacker crew. This is definitely one of the better teams that we've built. And this team would finish with an 11-6 record, making us the 6th seed here in the AFC. I feel like we should be better than this, but hopefully we can just go on a playoff run to make up for it. And we did beat the Texans in the first round, winning 31-21, but now we would have to face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And that is where our season would end, as Kansas City beats us 27-16. Maybe we can actually get the job done though with Aaron Rodgers' old rivals, as we have the Detroit Lions up next, who come in as an 84 overall team with an 89 offense and an 80 overall defense. There's obviously some holes to fill, especially defensively, but this is one of the best teams in the entire NFL, so I really have a good feeling about it. And we are going to start out with an absolute bang here, going and picking up TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds from the Bears, which gives us a huge upgrade at linebacker. Next, we're going to get Aiden Hutchinson, a running mate, getting Rashawn Gary from the Packers. After that, we would grab superstar X-Factor cornerback Tre'Davious White from the Rams, pick up Micah Hyde at a free agency, because why not? And we would finish off by picking up some more receiver depth in Romeo Doubs from the Packers for a few backups on our team. And I know that I say this all the time, but this truly feels like one of the better teams that we've built as well. The offense is really, really good. The defense is really, really good. I'm super excited to see what we can do in sim. I also do feel decent because I know the Lions always do good in sim, so I think upgrading their roster is just going to make them do even better. And somehow we only finished at 9-8, but luckily we did sneak into the playoffs, where it looks like we were playing the Green Bay Packers here in the first round. And we actually did. We won 28-24, and now we will meet the number 1 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles, in the divisional. But unfortunately, we were unable to beat the Eagles, as they take care of us 34-28 in the divisional round. And the next team up to rebuild is the Lions' division rivals, the Green Bay Packers, who come in at an 81 overall with an 81 offense and an 81 defense. Again, they do have good playmakers all around, but there are definitely some holes to fill, so we're going to try to do that. And we're going to start the Packers rebuild off with a bang as well, going out and grabbing Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins. We did have to give up an absolute haul of picks for him, but I think it's going to be worth it going out and grabbing Jordan Love, a for sure number 1 wide receiver. And because that last trade left us with a lot of wide receiver depth, we're going to trade a couple of those guys in a first round pick for Bobby Wagner and Andrew Wiley from the Commanders. After that, we're going to grab Devin Lloyd and Mitch Morse from the Jaguars. After that, we grabbed Rasul Douglas to give Jair Alexander some help in the secondary. And lastly, we're going to make the only logical move, which is picking up Michael Hyde at a free agency. And all of those moves would leave us at an 84 overall with an 84 offense and an 84 defense. I think we did a really good job filling out the holes on this roster. Let's go see how we do. And we did end up making the playoffs here with an 11-6 record. We have the San Francisco 49ers, who only went 8-9 this year in the first round of the playoffs. Hopefully we can knock them off, but we cannot. They barely beat us 28-25 here in the wild card. And at this point, we're in a real drought for Super Bowls here in this video. And I don't know if that drought is going to end here, because next up we have the worst team in the entire NFL, the Carolina Panthers. But we're still going to try our absolute best here with the Panthers by first going out and grabbing Kirk Cousins to play quarterback for us. After that, we're going to grab Kirk Cousins, a true number one receiver, getting Chris Olave from the Saints. Okay, I was not expecting that to go through just now, but we just picked up Myles Garrett and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from the Browns for Kirk Cousins, 2 firsts and a second. Obviously, Myles Garrett and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah really help our team, but now we don't have a quarterback, so I have to go out and try to find a new quarterback now. And that quarterback is going to end up being Baker Mayfield, who we are trading Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis for, but that does give us a quarterback at least. And now I just desperately need to go find some upgrades, at least at left guard, hopefully at left and right guard though. And it's not a big upgrade, but it is an upgrade nonetheless. We're going to go get 2 guards from the Cardinals. And here is the team after the trades. It's an 80 overall with a 79 offense and an 83 defense. And let's be real here, the team still sucks, but it is at least better than what we had before. Maybe we can go out and make some noise here. And we actually do end up making the playoffs here with the Carolina Panthers as we go 10-7, and we will meet up with the Detroit Lions here in the first round of the playoffs. And we ended up beating the Lions 14-17 in the first round, but now we will meet up versus the 1 seed Dallas Cowboys in the divisional. And if we could find a way to beat the Dallas Cowboys, this would be a legendary run. We did! We beat the Cowboys as well, winning 27-17 and getting to the NFC Championship versus the Packers. If the Carolina Panthers are one of the teams that I win a Super Bowl with here in this video, you guys have to go down below and leave a like. We're simming to the Super Bowl. Can we get it done here? We are in the Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers, where we are going to be playing the 12-5 Kansas City Chiefs. We won the NFC Championship 25-18 versus the Packers. This is a legendary run. Like I said, if we win this Super Bowl, you got to go down below and like and subscribe. And moment of truth here, can we win the Super Bowl? Come on. It's starting to take forever to simulate. I don't know why. Maybe just because I've been recording like all day long. But come on. It doesn't even tell me. Did we win the Super Bowl? We did. We beat the Chiefs 32-28. Myles Garrett is your Super Bowl MVP. And we have won a Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers, bringing our total number of Super Bowls here in this video up to 6 out of 10. And we got it done with the worst team in the NFL. I cannot believe we just did that with the Panthers. And next on the list is the New England Patriots, who again are one of the worst teams in the NFL. But I mean, if we just do the same thing we just did with the Panthers, maybe we can get them a Super Bowl as well here. They do at least have a pretty good defense, so I like that we're going to be able to work around that a little bit. And we are starting out with an absolutely massive trade here as the Patriots, going out and grabbing Dak Prescott. Did have to give up 2 first-round picks and a second, as well as 3 starters on this team, but Dak Prescott's a massive upgrade at quarterback. So we are then going to flip Drake May as well as some seconds and third-round picks for Quinn Miners and Ben Powers from the Broncos. Next, we're going out and getting Michael Pittman to give Dak a big weapon as well as a huge upgrade at center in Ryan Kelly. We're then going to sign Charles Leno at a free agency to come be our left tackle. And lastly, we're going to grab Gerald Everett from the Bears, which would get this team up to an 82 overall with an 83 offense and an 81 overall defense. I did make the defense a tiny bit worse, trading a few players, but I think that the upgrades on offense will be worth it. And again, it's not a super amazing team, but it's a better team than the one we just built with the Panthers and we won a Super Bowl. So let's see what happens. But unfortunately, even after the upgrades, we would only finish 8-9 and miss out on the playoffs. And with only 9 teams left in the league to rebuild, we still have 4 Super Bowls that we have to win. And the first of those 9 teams that we're going to try to win a Super Bowl with will be the Las Vegas Raiders, who come in at an 81 overall with an 81 offense and an 83 defense. And we would start out by going and grabbing our much needed quarterback upgrade in Matthew Stafford for a first round pick and a few late round picks. Next, we would grab big upgrades at linebacker from our division rival Chiefs, then some big upgrades on the O-line, an upgrade at cornerback, and lastly, we were trading 2 first round picks for one of the best running backs in the NFL in Jonathan Taylor. Here is the team after the trades. We have an 83 offense and an 85 defense. I think we did a good job upgrading in important positions. Let's see how it goes. And we ended up going 9-8 and just sneaking into the playoffs, where we are going to be taking on the Buffalo Bills here in the first round. But unfortunately, Buffalo is just too good for us as they beat us 28-18. And we are now down to the final 8 teams where we need to win 4 Super Bowls. Otherwise, I am giving away a copy of Madden 25 on my Twitter. The good news is there's a lot of good teams here. The Rams are a Super Bowl contender. The Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. The Steelers have a really good roster outside of quarterback. The Texans have a lot of potential, as well as the Vikings and the Seahawks having a lot of potential. The only 2 teams that I don't feel great about are the Titans and the Saints. Then again, we did see what happened with the Panthers, so I think any of these teams are possible to win a Super Bowl with. First up is the Los Angeles Rams, who come in at an 81 overall with an 84 offense and a 79 defense. Obviously, Obviously, it sucks that Puka is out because he would really help this rebuild, but we are going to have to do it without Puka. But the main concern of this team is the defense, where we're going to have to upgrade quite a bit. And another problem that we're going to have with the Rams is that they are a team that has traded a lot of their picks already. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to make trades happen. But this first trade we had no problem getting done as we go and get big upgrades at linebacker and defensive tackle. Next, we're going and getting more linebackers from the Broncos and Baron Browning and Jonathan Cooper. Next, we traded the rookie Jared Verse for Cole Kmet for an upgrade at tight end. Then we'd get a new left tackle, and we would finish off by grabbing Matthew Stafford and this offense a huge weapon in Keenan Allen. And after the trades, we're up to an 85 overall with an 87 overall offense and an 83 overall defense. I think that we did a really good job here. Hopefully the Rams can come out and win us a Super Bowl. But somehow we would finish at just 9-8 and miss out on the playoffs here with the Rams. And I am starting to really get nervous that I'm going to have to give away a copy of the game. But hopefully our luck can turn around here with the Baltimore Ravens. And if I want any chance at completing this challenge, this is a year that I have to win a Super Bowl. And we are going to start off by making a massive trade with our division rivals for the best guard duo in the entire NFL. Next, we're going to bring Calais Campbell back to Baltimore. We are then picking up Garrett Wilson from the Jets, who I expect to do absolutely amazing things with Lamar Jackson. Then an upgrade at cornerback, and that is going to be all of the moves that we do here with the Ravens. I know we still have one more left, but we don't have the money or trade assets to make anything else happen. But this team is absolutely amazing. This offense looks sick. The defense has playmakers all over the ball. Let's go win us a Super Bowl. We ended up with a 13-4 record here with the Baltimore Ravens, and we will be playing the Miami Dolphins in the first round of the playoffs. And oh my God, we just beat the dog shit out of the Dolphins, winning 63-10. And up next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs on the schedule. Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Can Lamar get it done this time? And he does. We beat the Chiefs 31-24, and now we have the 5-seed Bills who upset the 1-seed Jets in the AFC Championship. We are a significantly higher overall than that Bills team, so hopefully we can get it done. And we do. We are in the Super Bowl versus the Packers, who are also an 83 overall, the same overall that the Bills were. We ended up beating the Bills 24-20 in the AFC Championship. Can we win another Super Bowl and make it number 7 in this video? And yes, we can. We win 24-10 versus the Packers, where Lamar Jackson wins Super Bowl MVP as well as regular season MVP. And that brings us up to 7 Super Bowls here in this video. And next up is the New Orleans Saints, who come in at an 81 overall with an 80 overall offense and an 84 defense. Can we win back-to-back Super Bowls for the first time since we did it with the Chiefs and Chargers earlier in the video? And we are going to start with a massive trade, trading Derek Carr 2 firsts, a second and a third to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence. After that, we're going to go out and grab our new QB and Jared Goff from the Lions for Willie Gay, a first, 2 seconds, and a third. Next, we're getting big upgrades on the offensive line with Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers from the Broncos. Then we're going to grab Brandon Graham from the Eagles and none other than all reliable out of free agency Micah Hyde, which will get us up to an 83 overall with an 81 offense and an 87 overall defense. And actually, it might even be higher. I got to switch Micah Hyde to strong safety real quick. And after doing that, it bumped our overall up to an 84 and our defense up to an 88 overall. But unfortunately, we would only finish 9-8 and we would miss out on the playoffs with the Saints. And with not picking up a Super Bowl with the Saints, we are now down to 5 teams to win 3 Super Bowls with, starting off with the 82 overall Seattle Seahawks, who do have pretty good playmakers in Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, as well as on defense with their cornerbacks Reek Woolen and Devon Witherspoon. But the team definitely has a lot of holes, and if we want to win a Super Bowl, we're going to have to really improve this roster. And we are going to start out by getting really big upgrades on the O-line, especially in Andrew Thomas, who we're going to play at right tackle. After that, we're going to pick up Levante David to be the star of our defense. After that, we're going to get Grover Stewart at defensive tackle from the Colts. Then we're going to sign Micah Hyde, as we always do, to come be the strong safety. And lastly, we're going to get an upgrade over Noah Fant at tight end, picking up Trey McBride from the Cardinals. And after the trades, the Seahawks team is an 84 overall with an 84 offense and an 85 overall defense. This team is very, very good. And we ended up finishing at just 9-8, but we do sneak into the playoffs, and we are playing the Atlanta Falcons here in the wild card. And we actually did end up beating the Falcons 28-17, but we have the Dallas Cowboys, who are one of the higher overall teams in the entire game in the second round. But we honestly aren't super far behind. We're an 85 overall compared to their 87. Anything's possible. Let's see what happens. And we actually did beat the Cowboys here. We have the San Francisco 49ers up next, which I don't feel great about, but we beat the Cowboys 23-17 in the divisional, and now it is the 1-seed San Francisco 49ers in the AFC Championship. They are an 89 overall overall across the board compared to our 85 overall. Can it happen? We have a new injury as well. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen without our star running back, Kenneth Walker. So that is just absolutely brutal. But can we beat the San Francisco 49ers and make it to the Super Bowl? And no, we could not. We ended up losing 21-17 in the NFC Championship. I thought that this Seahawks team might end up picking us up a Super Bowl in this video, but not quite. They fall short in the NFC Championship to the 49ers. And that leaves us with just 4 remaining teams with 3 Super Bowls still needing to be won, which is the Steelers, the Texans, the Titans, and the Vikings. And when I started this challenge, I thought that only 10 Super Bowls might be too easy. I almost set the number at 16, which no way we would have ever gotten that. But next up is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're an 83 overall with an 80 offense and an 88 defense. Clearly, the Steelers have a very, very good defense. We all know that. But offensively, we're going to have to fill a lot of holes if we want to win a Super Bowl with this team. Which starts with getting Mike Tomlin a quarterback that can actually play football for the first time since Ben Roethlisberger. Which is why we are going to go out and get Deshaun Watson from the Browns. No, I'm just kidding. We're actually going to go get Aaron Rodgers. We obviously are not going to go get the pedophile Deshaun Watson. But what we will do is go take Deshaun Watson's #1 target in Amari Cooper, as well as his right tackle, Jack Conklin. After that, we're going to go grab Daron Payne from the Washington Commanders, then Chidobe Awuzie from the Titans, and then lastly, we are going to sign Michael Thomas out of free agency to give Aaron Rodgers another weapon. And those moves have got us up to an 85 overall with an 83 offense and an 89 defense. The team again looks really good in my opinion. Hopefully they can perform in simulation. And oh my god, perform in simulation we did. We finished at 13-4, which is good for a first round bye here in the AFC. And in the divisional round, we would be taking on the 7 seed Las Vegas Raiders, who are only an 83 overall compared to our 87, so we should be able to win this game. And we do. And next up is the 10-7 Jacksonville Jaguars, who are an 85 overall. And it's another win for us in the AFC Championship, meaning that we are in the Super Bowl versus the Dallas Cowboys here. Can we pick up Super Bowl number 8 in this video? And this could keep the challenge alive if we do win, and we do. 34-17 in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers wins Super Bowl MVP, and we pick up our 8th Super Bowl of the video with the Pittsburgh Steelers, meaning that we just need 2 of these 3 teams to win Super Bowls to complete our challenge. And if there is a team of those 3 that I feel the best about, it is this Texans team, who are absolutely stacked here in Madden. They have playmakers all over the ball. Hopefully we can find guys to fill in the needs of the roster and come out and win a Super Bowl. And we are going to start out by bolstering our linebacker room with Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. Next, we're going to get a new left guard center duo in Joel Bitonio and Eric Pochik. Or actually, it's Ethan Pochik. I don't know why I said Eric. Then we are going to grab a new CB2 and defensive tackle depth from the Browns. Then we'd pick up a new right tackle from the Commanders. And lastly, we would sign Xavier Howard out of free agency to be our slot cornerback. And after those moves, this team is up to an 87 overall with an 89 overall offense to go along with an 85 overall defense. The team looks very, very good. Hopefully CJ Stroud can lead us to a Super Bowl. But we would somehow finish 10-7 and miss the playoffs. You've got to be kidding me, dude. How do we miss the playoffs at 10-7? Especially with this roster. I mean, this team is absolutely stacked. And because of that, we only have 2 more chances to win our last 2 Super Bowls. And it is going to be with the Titans and the Vikings. And the Titans come in at an 82 overall with an 81 offense and an 84 defense. We definitely need to upgrade at quarterback as well as on the O-line. And then I think we just need some bigger playmakers on defense. And hopefully we can get this team to be a Super Bowl contender. And the quarterback that we are going to go out and get is going to be Tua Tagovailoa, where we are giving up 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 7th-round pick. And also, the day that I'm recording this video is the day after Tua Tagovailoa just suffered another concussion in his career. I really hope that he's okay. I hope that he doesn't have to retire from football, but also, like, I hope that he makes the right decision for his health. But I would really like to come out and get Tua a Super Bowl here in Madden, which is why I traded so much for him. And on top of him just being a very, very good player and being exactly what this team needs. After that, we're going to get Tua some protection as well as an upgrade at linebacker from the Bengals. Then we're going to trade Quandre Diggs for Leo Chenal because you guys know I can go out and get a free safety, which I will do. Good old reliable in this video, Micah Hyde is on the team, as well as us going out and grabbing Patrick Peterson for some cornerback depth. Because I traded so much in those first 2 trades for Tua and Trent Brown, I didn't really have any trade assets, so that's just what we're going to have to work with our last 2 moves. But after all of those, we would be up to an 84 overall with an 85 offense offense and an 84 defense. The team looks really good. Is it a Super Bowl contender? I don't really know, but I mean, they're better than some other teams that we've won a Super Bowl with in this video, so anything is possible here. And I will remind you guys again that if I don't win a Super Bowl this season, the challenge will be failed technically because I need 2 in these last 2 seasons. But also with only one more team to rebuild in the Vikings, we will be rebuilding them regardless of if the challenge is still alive or not. And we do make the playoffs. We went 11-6 here with the Tennessee Titans. We have the Jets in the first round. Can we keep the challenge alive here with the Titans? But no, we do not. We get absolutely destroyed by the Jets in the first round, losing 36-17, meaning that the challenge is officially over, but we still will go ahead and rebuild the Minnesota Vikings just to make it fair that we're rebuilding every single team in the NFL, as the title says. Unfortunately, though, we will not meet the challenge requirements. And last but not least, it's the Minnesota Vikings time, who come in at an 82 overall with an 84 offense and an 81 defense. The team is pretty good. We obviously are going to have to go out and get a quarterback, and regardless of whether we've already failed the challenge or not, we're still going to try our absolute best to win a Super Bowl here with the Vikings. And the quarterback that we are going to trade for is 85 overall superstar Brock Purdy, and we gave up 2 first-round picks, a 3rd and 2 fourths, and then Dallas Turner, who would have been a backup on our team anyway. So I think that that is a really good trade in my opinion, at least here in Madden. I probably would not do that if I'm the Vikings in real life, of course, but here in Madden, it's a good trade. Next, we're going to go out and get Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard from the Bengals. Then we're going to get Gerald Everett to fill in for us while TJ Hawkinson is out. And lastly, we're going to grab La'el Collins from the Bears as well, making this team an 85 overall with an 87 offense and an 84 defense. It's the last time that I get to say it. I feel like we built a pretty good team here. Are we Super Bowl contenders? I'm not 100% sure. There's only one way to find out. Let's simulate and see if we can win a Super Bowl here with the Vikings. But no, somehow we only finish with a 5-12 record here with the Minnesota Vikings, meaning that our Super Bowl number in this video is gonna stay at 8. So like I said, if you do want to enter the giveaway, go down below into the description, go to my Twitter. You got to follow me, like the tweet, and retweet the tweet about me giving away a copy of Madden 25. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you're excited for more content, and go down below that you made it through the entire video so that I know that you stayed through the entire thing. Thank you so much for watching, and that is pretty much it from me. Peace.